Well, hello folks, hope you're well. I recently made a playlist for, you'll excuse the squeaky Telecaster. I recently made a playlist for all of our GX-10 content. We've done loads of it, and the reason I'm doing it is because it's still fascinating for me as a machine to explore, and I'm still learning new things. And that's how I approach gear generally, is to really take it apart and learn the hell out of it. You'll notice there's an amplifier here today. As I said, I put these videos in the playlist, and basically I thought it would be good to answer or to address some of the most common questions and sort of inquiries that I get about the gear. This is not, would you believe, a sponsored video or a sponsored playlist, though. Boss, if you did, I won't name the person I emailed, but I have contacted Roland UK just to say, look, we made this great playlist, dudes. Anyway, back to it. This is going to go at the top of that playlist, but it's a normal Sunday show in the sense that I want to show you today. It's almost, but not a. How many months have I had it now? December. Did I get it in December? December, January, February, March. It's almost a 6-month review, but you've seen me talking about the functionality of it. I just wanted to address the main thing I get, which is how are you using it? Will it work like this? And to kind of hit on some of the things that people have asked me in the nearly 6 months since I've had it. So we'll get straight into it. I bought the Boss GX-10 to replace my pedal board. So there is a video for that, replacing my pedal board with the Boss GX-10. And that was a replacement for live, obviously. But it was also it's the same pedal board. I have the one pedal board that I use in the studio and live, and bits change on it, but basically it's the same stuff. So it was to replace the pedal board that I use live and in the studio. And the first use case that I asked of it was the live arena, if you like. And what I wanted to do for that was to get away from tap dancing. Let's put the live rig video here. If you watch the live rig video, you will see that I tell you about the band that I'm playing with in 2025 and the requirements for quite heavily affected sounds. Sounds that I didn't have all the pedals I needed to make, and B, that changed dramatically from section to section in the same song. So that was really the reason I went for it, was a multi-effects can obviously do all of that. And the Boss GX-10 certainly works in that aspect. So the first use case for me was Boss GX-10 as a live board, mono, into an amplifier. Not this one though. More on that in a sec. So I'm not using stereo. I'm not using a big amplifier. They're all combos. The amp that I use at the moment live is the Fender Blues Junior. So a tube amp, clean, with all of the effects coming off the Boss board. Tick. It works perfectly. Let me show you how I do that. So you've got a guitar. You will need a guitar. And the key here, this is on one song from the set. The key here is that there is this might seem like obvious, but maybe not. Because I had someone say, how's the amp modeling going to sound running into either an amp or a cab sim or something? Well, for live, my live usage, I do not use any amp sims. And for the first 2 months of owning this unit, I didn't touch, if you can believe that, the amp sims, apart from tatting about on the presets. So let's have a look at an example patch. Compressor. Again, all of my settings, we're not going to settings today, all of my settings that I've used and that I love, and you'll hear them, they sound great, are in the other videos. And I promise, well, I figured out why we can't do Boss Tone Studio. The reason for that is that none, if you can believe this, of our Macs, do you want to get some B-roll of the Mac I'm using? None of our Macs are new enough, are running software new enough to use the Boss Tone Studio, which also means I can't update this thing at the minute. So do send help. I am running, if you can believe this, 10.6.8 here, Snow Leopard, and the laptop that we edit on is running 12 something. Sadly, Boss only support this, and many of their obviously new products, 13 and up. So I'll have to buy a new laptop. That is maybe a bad thing. Let's Boss, if you could sort some support out for like 12 Monterey. I know you're not going to look at Snow Leopard, but that they're not going to look at either of it, are they? The key here for my live usage, because you are using a real amplifier, this is a transistor amplifier. It's a Fender Champion 110 from, if you can believe it, 1995. It is a secret weapon, and we will do a separate video on this amplifier. It is, I think, one of the most underrated Fender amplifiers in Fender history. It's a beast. You'll notice if you could, let me just showing this. If I grab the B-roll camera, the volume on this, there you go, is on 1. And it's not quiet in here, is it? I could just about talk over it. Back to the Boss GX-10. The key here is that this is hugely important, right? You could experiment with this, like using an amplifier as an effects pedal, but I have not done that because that's not how they're designed. So why would you bother when it already sounds good? Not doing that. Do not use, if you're going into an amp, do not use any of the amp simulation. So in other words, there's no red block on there. If you're familiar with this unit, you will know that the amps are a red block. There's no red block. So first of all, let's just quickly turn all these off. How am I going to remember which ones I've turned off is the question. I know what we'll do. So here it is, the guitar amp with nothing on. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's like a lot quieter than with the pedals, but it doesn't matter because the pedals are staying on. That is a patch from a song, and all of my patches are level balanced. And of course, if I wanted to turn the amp up, then I can just turn this down. Does that make sense? I'll say that again. If I want to run the amp a bit louder, this is going to go crazy. This is going to be, okay, it's not. Does this thing where you turn it from 1 up to like 1.01 and then it takes your head off. Here we go. Now watch this. Here we go. So no effects. There you go. Look at that. Right, so here we go. Let's now start adding the effects back. Reverb. Beautiful. Delay. Vibrato. That is a great effect. Overdrive. Boost. Compressor. So that is how I'm using it live. I'm not using any bed. On your bed. Go on your bed. Hop. Good boy. And sit. Good sit. Well done. Really good. Lie down. Or you can, you know, scratch your... That's how I'm using it live. Every effect that I use live comes off that, including, you know, people always say, oh, the distortions and the fuzzies sound terrible on multi-effects, or they used to anyway. That's not what I've found to be the case. I use everything off the Boss GX-10. The key here, right, is I'm using for live, I'm in up, down. So the way I've got this set up, I'm just going to turn this down because it could get crazy. The way I've got this set up is the set is programmed into this. And I literally, so if I, let's go back to the start of the set. And again, if you want to like more deep, that means it's going to get crazy. I won't turn the guitar up. I have got a certain amount of functionality within the 3 switches on there. I've assigned that just in case, you know, if I want to turn a delay on or off. But basically, if I need a different sound to go from a verse to a chorus, I go there, like that. And back again. And then on to the next song, bosh. And that is how, and this is the reason I got a Boss thing, that is how, so I have learned, Johnny Marr does it with the GT-1000 core. So I base my setup on that. And boy, oh boy, does it work well. It's great. It hasn't failed at all. It's been totally reliable, even though I'm running like the release day firmware, which has had, I think, since had 3 updates. I've had no problems with it. Totally reliable and sounds brilliant. The key with, good boy, you stay there. The key with this stuff, the key when you're using it with an amplifier is to pair it with the correct amplifier. And that is a trial and error thing. And I'm going to do another video on that. That's where the Champion comes in. I have been using the Blues Junior, but there are perhaps changes coming to that. So that is use case number 1. And at that point, we can probably move straight on to number 2, which is after a couple of months of, and at this point, we'll turn the amplifier off. Ready for this? Not too bad. Cool. So the second use case that quiet. Oh, Peanut's not going to let us finish the video, is he?
Come on.
So the second use case for me, for the Boss GX-10, is studio and creative usage. And that is all the other stuff that you have seen me do. So all of the patch creation stuff, all of the making my guitar sound like Mark Knopfler, all of the, you know, the video that I thought was a great video, but it was one of our least popular videos this term, is the recreating my 2004 rig, my old Marshall rig. All of that stuff uses the amp sim. So at a certain point, amp sims, loads of them. At a certain point, I dived into it and kind of stuck the red block in the chain. And I've just been hugely impressed. I said on another video that, so really any of the other videos will be good if you want to learn about the amp sims. But particularly, I think the ones where I'm using the clean amp sim will be good for you, because then you can really dive into the potential of this unit. The amp sims for me, and you know, maybe you'll hear, oh yeah, so in amp sim mode, in home mode, I am always, nearly always using directly manual mode. And the reason for that is, you know, we're making little pedal boards at home for a specific purpose. You know, so in this case, the classic, the ultimate tele patch has got an overdrive that I can turn on and off. It's got the Johnny Marr chorus. That's a great video. Let's link to the Johnny Marr chorus up here. Let's split the coil. Now, what's cool about this video is that you just heard a real Fender Champion, and now you're hearing, I hope you heard it. Yeah, you did just hear a real Fender Champion. It has recorded. Now you're hearing a not real Fender Deluxe. So there you go. And, you know, in the Andertons video, the thing that they were most impressed with, and, you know, I was too, was Bosch, the tuner. Let's quickly tune up. I won't bore you with this. Maybe we can just smash through it, but, you know, standards. Still out of tune. There you are. Cool, so. That's a not real Fender Deluxe. And then, as I say, we have built, I'm so impressed with it. Like the amp stuff is great. And for home use, it's perfect. Now, in the Johnny Marr video, and many of the others, you will have heard it in stereo. Today I'm in mono. But I've totally been using it in stereo, out the back here, into the interface. I've also been using it, I don't know where, it's downstairs. I've been using it into an old karaoke speaker in mono. That's been quite fun. And I've been using the headphones a lot, you know. So if you've got like a decent pair of headphones, these are the DT770 Pro. You can, I mean, you literally, you could just live, you know, if you live in a flat or something, it's totally a satisfying experience just being on the headphone output. So very quickly then, let's go back to put some stuff on. Here we go. So you can hear the difference. Let's, yeah, cool. And I have done all manner of experimentation with the, you know, the product as I guess it is meant to be used, which is to say like mini pedal board, effects chain, and amplifiers. As I've got more comfortable with the unit, particularly with the amp sims, which I do think, and I said this on another video, if this is entry level sound, then I mean, how much better can a quad cortex be? Maybe we will investigate. The final use case, and the one that I am most excited about. So we've talked about how I'm using it live now. We've talked about creative explorations and how I've been using it for the video, for many of the videos online. And we've talked about how I am rehearsing with it and writing with it and just, you know, generally having fun with it. I will sit with it for hours and just, you know, and play. It's really, really been an inspiring bit of gear to get your teeth into. The final use case, and this is the one, this is a call out really. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please give me a thumbs up and tell your friends about the Sunday show and come and join us. And if you've got anything you want me to cover, you know where to leave it in the comments, everybody. The final use case, and the one that I'm most excited about, and this is, I say, a call out to our viewership, is using it on its own as a live unit. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, binning the amplifiers. Now, I have got some gigs coming up that I can guarantee the quality of the PA at the shows, and I may just do the gigs on the GX-10. So what it's the same artist that I'm playing for. So what that means, what will happen is that I will go into, you know, for example, the one we just had here, and I will add in, let's see, I'm just going to do it. Let's see if this actually just works. Here we go. Amplifier, natural. Let's just go Deluxe reverb because that's the one. There we go. High gain, that's how I've been using it, and 50. Yeah, okay, cool. So what you can do now, if you made it, or maybe you can come back to this later on, is you can go, and I did a similar video to this before when I was comparing the pedal boards, but you can see how easily I've just added an amplifier in there. So what I'm proposing to you, dear viewer, is if you tell me, and maybe I'll regret this, there's a Black Mirror episode recently where the guy was like, it was so bleak, wasn't it? He was basically, it did make me rethink my life choices. He was going on to try and earn money for some thing, and, you know, spoiler, by the end of the episode, he had no teeth. Basically, he was doing what his viewers asked him to do, such as drinking his own, you know, urine. I'm not going to do that, but if you want me to test this out live, no amplifier, just put a yes in the comments. Or, you could just, maybe I'll do a poll or something. If you think that'd be interesting, then let's do it. I'm excited to try it because, to me, how different is that? I guess we'll find out when we review the footage, but I haven't tweaked that at all. You saw what I just did. I literally, let's just get on the GX-10 again, dragged an amp in to the patch from my live show. I can hear that the reverb feels a lot louder. The sound on the whole is darker, but I'm sure I could sort that out with a bit of tatting. And so that is the final, unexplored, that I can think of right now anyway. That's the final unexplored use case of the Boss GX-10. And this is going to go at the front of the playlist. And hopefully it will answer some questions for you if you've just like happened upon our channel and go, wow, this guy loves the GX-10. If you want me to use it on its own live, I will do that. I'm excited to try it as well. So I think that'll probably do it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. New videos every Sunday. And once again, thank you very much for watching.